Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode 360 of the Spearhead Sundays podcast. I'm your host, Lewis Spears. We've got a big one for you. We're going to get into Trump's victory. Trump. I'm trying to get on board with the presidency because, as you know, I'm an aspiring immigrant, and if there's one candidate that was standing up for immigrants' right to entry, it was President Donald Trump. Well, I also went to Coldplay, and you're going to be happy to know that I've got great things to say about that. So it's an exciting episode. We're going to talk about the Costco guys as well, and what Fousey Tube's been up to in Australia in the middle of his manic episode. But what's really exciting is that Keehlans has actually somehow managed to escape the United Kingdom after getting extradited for what he did on the Kick live stream to that homeless woman. He's now managed somehow to get back to Australia, and he's on the podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you. They dropped some of the charges.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Right. So they dropped some of the charges that probably would have enabled, not allowed you to get off on bail.
They dropped the petty theft and the grand larceny.
Great. Awesome.
But the assault and all the other stuff, that's still ongoing.
Okay. Well, you know, fingers crossed. Hopefully justice is never served and you can continue doing the podcast. Welcome back. Now, Donald Trump's president. I would like to say a massive I told you, all right? Every single person who told me that my analysis of the US election was wrong last week, all right? I don't know if you could hear me because the fucking microphone was off, but I was correct. And I would like an apology. And in fact, I will be going and writing a demand for apology under every single comment that told me that I was wrong. I told you he was going to win. I knew he was going to win. And you know what the thing is? I don't even think that he won. I just think the Democrats lost. They ran one of the worst ever campaigns I've ever seen, other than the Hillary Clinton one. But somehow they got even less votes than that campaign. Dude, it's so crazy that he won. They won the Senate, and he won the popular vote, and he won the insane system that they have as well. He won all of them. The Dems have to take a real step back and look at themselves and be like, oh, maybe we can't run a campaign on, oh, if you vote for the other guy, you're racist. Who else are you going to vote for? The crazy guy? That was their whole campaign. Oh, what are you going to do? Vote for the insane guy? Yes, of course they will. It's America. Here's what they did. This is all. Trump is president again because the Democrats stabbed Bernie Sanders in the back. That's the only man that could have beaten Trump all 3 times in a row. I think the only reason Trump lost was because of COVID in the middle. Every single person that was in charge lost their presidency or their prime ministership pretty much. Did any world leader get reelected during or after COVID?
I don't think. Maybe Canada. I don't know. Do you want me to check? I can check that.
I feel like it was just Canada. Canada and New Zealand?
Not New Zealand.
Not New Zealand. No, she lost too.
She retired.
She quit. Yeah, that's right. It's like, it reminded me so much of what happened to the Dems this election. Reminded me so much of what happened in Australia many years ago now, and also what just happened in England a couple years ago, where the party that was in charge or the opposition swapped around their leaders without giving the people a say, and then the people were like, I don't know who this person is, I'm not voting for you. And then you couple that with like Kamala Harris just refusing to acknowledge the mental decline of Joe Biden. Like they shouldn't have run Biden. They ran him even though you could literally, if you zoomed in, like, did you notice that every single speech that they did for Joe Biden, it was filmed in 720p? Because they filmed one speech in 4K and you could literally see his brain melting and falling out of his ears. So that's why every time you see Joe Biden, it's actually in 720p. So that you can't see brain cells falling out of his nose when he speaks.
So to answer your question, Jacinda Ardern, Justin Trudeau, Emmanuel Macron, and the guy from South Korea and the Indian bloke, they all were reelected.
Okay, well, look, I was 100% wrong. But look, what I'm saying is they had a horrible campaign. I don't think Trump won. The Dems lost. You know what I mean? Like, what Trump is really fucking good at, the Democrats can't. Trump is really good at coming across as an authentic person. And I don't mean to say that he's a truthful person. The man's a liar. He lies all the time. But the difference is he will go, yeah, I tell a few lies. Eh? And that's relatable because we all lie. If you watch that footage of Trump at McDonald's, he's actually stoked to be there. He's loving it. He's having a great time. He's talking to people. One thing about Trump is that guy can talk to anyone and he can be genuinely interested. He actually loves interacting with other people, even poors. This guy can talk to black women, Asian men, old people, young people, and he can have a great conversation with them on camera in the moment that reads as authentic. Kamala Harris cannot do that. No Democratic nominee has been able to do that since Obama. And really, it's only Bernie Sanders that can actually look at a normal human being and not be like, ugh. And I think the Dems lost because, you know, they ran with Joe Biden, and then even after they swapped Kamala out, Joe Biden for Kamala Harris was like, no, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with Joe. There's nothing wrong with Joe. He's a great president and his brain works. Why are you running then? Are you? And she said she's not going to change anything from the last 4 years. They really, really had something. I think they really had a chance when Tim Walz came on and started calling Republicans weird. That really worked. When they started calling Republicans weird, the whole country for a little bit was like, oh, yeah, that is a little bit weird, isn't it? Wearing a fucking hat all the time and yelling MAGA, that is a bit strange. But then the Democrats' consultants obviously told him to stop saying that. And then he took a back step and they lost because Tim seemed to read as an authentic human being, where Kamala Harris doesn't. She's like another fucking robot controlled by the Dems. And I think, like, whatever you think about policy, I'm not saying like it's good that he won or it's bad that Dems won. I'm purely talking about the actual campaign. They ran a terrible one, and it's because they're just robots and they're scared of authenticity. And that's why they stabbed Bernie Sanders in the back, because he could have won, but that would have come at the expense of maybe giving something to working class people and maybe conceding a little bit on the healthcare issue, which Democrats hate. They're just, they're not, everyone keeps talking about, the Dems are lefties. They're not. They're like center. You know, they're much further to the right than the Labour Party here. Liberals in Australia are our right-wing party. It must be confusing for Americans when we talk about liberals. But Labour is left. In your country, if they were all parties, like your left wing, the Democrats would just be centrist. Like they're in the center. And I think they need to move more to the left if they want to win, because people just want healthcare and food they can afford. They don't want to be sending money overseas to wars. And there's a lot of things that I don't like about Trump, but when he goes up there and says, why the fuck are we spending so much money overseas and sending our soldiers to die? That's honestly enough for a lot of people to vote for him. And you can see that in, I can't remember what district it was, but super Muslim, right? Really, really Muslim district, mostly Muslim. They all voted for Joe Biden when Joe won. They all voted for Trump this time. And it's because of the Israel-Palestine thing, where even though Trump hasn't come out against Israel, he has said a lot, why are we spending so much money in foreign wars? And that's enough for a lot of people who really care about Israel-Palestine to at least vote for the guy who's a little bit nuts or a little bit of a wild card, because they know that Kamala Harris has basically gone, oh, we're not going to change anything about that conflict. We're all good. So yeah, good luck, America. Good luck. as an aspiring immigrant, I wholeheartedly support whoever wins, and it was Trump, so I'm all in. We're gonna actually we're gonna change this black wall. We're gonna put up like a big blue, white "Make America Great Again" mural. I'm gonna just start wearing the red hat as well, and that's what we're gonna be. You know what? I watched his acceptance speech. Did you watch his speech, Keelan?
Yeah, I did.
What a speech! That was. I mean, he got up there and I was like, did he not think he was going to win? Like, that was not planned at all. And again, this is that authenticity, right? We watched Kamala Harris this morning conceding, and she gave her speech, and it was the most boring impression of Obama that they've been trying to do ever since Obama. Obama. It was this fucking such a fake, scripted, written by someone else, meant to be inspirational speech. What you should do is what Donald Trump did. You just get up there and you just start fucking yapping. I swear to God, you know what I thought the other day when I was watching him, yesterday when I was watching him do his acceptance speech? That's the most important moment of his political career after he won the presidential election for the second time. The entire world is watching what he's going to say. He gets up there, and he just did an episode of Spearhead Sundays. So like I won, and what else has been going on? Like that's what he did. It wasn't planned at all. He didn't really say anything. He said thank you, and then he just started name dropping. He was like, Elon Musk, how good's that rocket? Hey? Elon Musk sent a rocket into space and then they caught it. And I didn't think they were going to catch it, but it turns out they did catch it. And I asked him, why is it a different color when it landed? And he told me that they don't have paint that can withstand all of that fire. And I thought, wow. I was watching this going, hang on, this guy is doing this during his acceptance speech, talking about paint getting stripped off somebody else's rocket. I also, you know what I really love? He kind of in a very roundabout way called Elon Musk retarded during the speech. Did you pick up on this?
I actually I watched maybe the first 5 and then stopped.
Yeah, it's a good decision. He just rambled. But he says something like, Elon Musk, you know, he's a brilliant guy. He's a genius. We need to protect our geniuses because we don't have many of them in Australia. He's very, very special, so we have to protect him. That's how we used to talk about the kid with Down syndrome in high school. He's very special, so we have to look after him. And then he got Dana White up for some reason. He's like, Dana White. And then Dana White's like, he started calling other people up to speak. He goes, Dana White, come and speak. And Dana was like, I thought I was just here to stand and clap. Okay. And then Dana White, this is how funny America is. This is how it's not a real country. It's so fake. It's a hallucination. People say Australia's not real. Okay, then tell me why during a presidential election speech, the president got the CEO of a fighting company to speak for some reason, and that CEO said, I want to say a very special thank you to Aiden Ross and the Nelk Boys. You're not real. That's not a real country. Aiden Ross and the Nelk Boys got thanked during a presidential acceptance speech by a guy that wasn't the president. Because the president didn't think he was going to win, so didn't prepare a speech and started rambling about rockets. You're not real. That's not a real country. He then goes, there's a big, I think it was like a basketball player or something. There's a big basketball player here. Come up on stage. And like the guy wasn't there or was too far away or was like, dude, I'm a basketball player. I'm not getting up at the fucking Republican presidential. Like he probably made a wise decision to like, as soon as someone was like, there's a basketball player here. The guy probably got on his knees so he wasn't seen hovering above the crowd like me at an event. And yeah, Trump just kind of like rambled and then was like, all right, thank you. And yes, see you later. And then they played YMCA.
Oh, I did see that actually.
And then he started dancing. That's why I'm happy Trump won, because all of that shit is funny as fuck. If Kamala Harris was president, that'd be the most boring 4 years ever. Boo! Dude, how many more assassination attempts do you think we're going to see in the next 4 years? Do you reckon we're going to see a few?
I think Inauguration Day will be fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a threat.
How many assassination attempts will there be? I don't know, but I think Inauguration Day, 3 p.m., is going to be a blast.
Have you seen footage of George Bush's inauguration in 2001? There's like no one there on the streets. And then people protesting him started like egging the cars. And there was so much stuff, so many like fruits and veggies and eggs being thrown at Bush's car specifically.
Yeah.
The car sped off. And you know how usually there's like a bunch of servicemen running next to the car? The car sped off without them.
Then they're just standing there getting pelted with produce. My favorite thing about the Trump acceptance speech, though, and you have to go and watch it. You don't. And what's good about it, if you can't stand Trump, you can watch it on mute, and it's almost funnier. How fucking huge is Barron Trump? That kid is massive. He makes Donald Trump look 5'4". That kid is. If you want a good representation of how tall I am, we're the same height. I think there's like a little, he might be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but he's only 19. So I'm 6'8". That kid's going to be 7'1", dude. I don't think I stopped growing until I was like 23, 24. It really slowed down from the age of 20 to 25, but I think I got an extra inch out during that time. He is going to be 7 feet. That is so funny. You know what I want to know? Who the fuck is his tailor? Because he looks good in a suit and I don't. Who made that suit? I need to hire them. Making a suit for a 7'1", very skinny little boy? That's what I need.
Nah, he's buff.
No, he's not.
He's built.
No, he's not.
Under his suit, I bet he's got like massive shoulders.
You think that because he's wearing a nice suit. That's what a nice suit does to you. It creates a nice triangle shape.
Okay.
See?
I think he's built.
I need his tailor. You want to fuck Barron Trump. You saw Barron Trump get on stage and how he dwarfed even his very tall father, and you got horny. You know what's hilarious is Barron Trump is a big reason why Trump won. I told you that doing all of those podcasts would make him win the election. And I told you Kamala Harris not doing Joe Rogan was a huge mistake because Trump won because he comes across as more authentically human than anyone the Democrats have run since Obama. Obama won because he was like a human being. And he got up there and he was like, I'm a fucking black man and I'm inspirational. I've gotten here and so can you. And we really everyone bought into that like dream and inspiration, and it was like authentically who he was. And then he was like, now it's time to bomb Middle East. Anyway, more Spears and election analysis. You know, Bernie Sanders came out and he finally said that the Democrats have completely fucked it. So good. He wrote a big statement. It's worth reading, but he kind of summarized it by saying this. It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Bernie's the only guy that could have beaten Trump the last 3 elections, for sure. They ran with Hillary, and then they ran with Joe, and they just got in with Joe, and then they ran with brain dead Joe, and then they ran with Kamala Harris. None of those people are like authentic human beings. They're all like political robots that have been playing chess throughout their entire career and will do whatever the party tells them to do, which is throw as much money as possible into war and dangle the carrot of maybe we'll give you some health care, but not actually doing it. if they came out and they were like, hey, we're gonna raise minimum wage and we're gonna get healthcare and we're gonna pay for that by spending less on the military, I think it would be a huge fucking landslide. And they wouldn't even have to sacrifice a huge military. They would just have to like stop deploying it. Like, can't you have it like, because I think America does need a massive military, because if they don't have it, much more evil countries will. But they don't need to be fucking deployed everywhere and fighting useless wars in the sand for no reason. Speaking of useless wars, you see the guy who killed Osama bin Laden? What he wrote?
What did he say?
So funny. So there's a bunch of like in this election cycle, a bunch of new like Democratic influencer Gen Z kids popping up on TikTok, like debate lords, right? And there's one kid in particular who's like quite a good looking blonde kid who's just, you know, he's debated Ben Shapiro and all that kind of stuff, right? And they posted, this is before the election, like a selfie of them all hanging out together.
Oh yes.
And the guy was like, you know, in medieval times, you would be my concubines, is what the guy who killed Osama bin Laden said.
What's that?
Like a sex slave. So they were like, we hope Kamala Harris wins. And then this Republican guy was like, I'm a gay rapist pedophile. Yeah, like that makes me want to vote for your team. We think Kamala Harris should win. I'm going to rape you children, boys. Okay? Well, you're a big tough man, aren't you? Cool. That makes me want to put on a red hat. Heaps. Awesome country. It's such a cool place, man. Good luck. Do a flip on the way down. That's how I feel about it. Do a flip. No, you know what's crazy is that I was just talking about this with someone that because he has one, that means that he'll be president when I move there, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be moving in the next 4 years. So that's my president. That's awesome.
Or Vance.
Yeah, Vance. You know what really surprised me about Vance is like every single time I've heard him speak, I've gone, oh fuck, this guy actually really cares.
He's just normal.
He's a normal person.
He's just normal. Yeah.
He's a normal person. He grew up without money and he has perspective on what like the lower class and middle class life is actually like, which none of these Dems have despite claiming to represent them. And that's so much. So yeah, that's why they won. I don't know. We'll probably move on. I said all of this last week, but I would like my apologies. You can write them in the comment section now. On to some lighter news now. Did you see the Costco guys do Jimmy Fallon?
Costco guys. Yeah, I watched it. Very funny.
Fuck, it was so funny. The best Jimmy Fallon interview there has been ever. And it's purely because you can tell that Jimmy Fallon fucking hates them and resents the fact that his audience are excited to see these fat children eat food from Costco. He's so upset. And you know what's real? I haven't seen anyone else point this out about this interview. If you watch it, I think this would piss me off. If I was Jimmy, this would piss me off a lot, right? Jimmy Fallon is trying to interview the Costco guys. The Costco guys are trying to do a TikTok to the cameras. And like, if you're Jimmy, you're talking to me and I'm looking at the cameras going, boom, boom, boom. And whenever they ask the question, they don't look at Jimmy. They just go, and they're looking directly into the lens. They're not even looking at the audience. They're doing their TikTok. That's all they know how to do is just go double chunk chocolate chip cookie down the lens of a camera while ignoring the audience and ignoring Jimmy. Jimmy's trying to get any question out and they're just going boom. And every time they do boom, he's like, stop, don't do it 5 times. And they're like, we've got to do it 5 times. 5 booms. Boom, boom. My other favorite thing is that the Rizzler's there, like the fucking Joker in the Joker film, about to pull out a handgun and blow Jimmy's head off. If he doesn't give him a yummy treat that he likes, he's going to pull out a gun and be like, you get what you fucking deserve. But the Rizzler's sitting there like, dude, he looked like Fat Yoda on the Jedi Council. His fucking legs are not touching the ground. He's there all fucking inflated, just stoked to be there at all. And then AJ's in the middle. And what I love about the Costco family, and this is what Jimmy doesn't understand, is that there's so much joy to be pulled from the Costco family around just observing how they interact with each other. It's not about the stuff. I don't like watching them review food. I like the dynamics of the characters and how they interact with each other, because you can tell that the father, he's wanted to be famous his entire life. Did you know he wants to be a wrestler? Like that's been his life goal. And he might get there. Like I'm telling you, dude, one day you're going to be watching the WWE, The Undertaker's going to be there, and all of a sudden you're going to hear this. Boo! And then the dad's going to come out and throw the Rizzler at The Undertaker and win. But the dad wants to be famous, so he's elated in absolutely everything because finally his lifelong dream has come out. And he also seems like an excellent father. He just loves hanging out with his kids and he loves being famous. So he's just like floating on air now that he's on Jimmy Fallon, staring into the lens going, boom, while Jimmy says, yes, I get it, stop. And the audience goes, ha ha ha, they said the catchphrase. AJ in the middle, my favorite thing about this whole thing is AJ resents Rizzler, and because the Rizzler has been adopted by the rest of the country as the main character of the Costco family. And AJ was the main character because it would just started off with dad filming AJ. So AJ was the star from the genesis of this thing. Oh, the pizza twist cookie bake thing, or whatever the fuck he said, right? And he was always the star. And then the Rizzler was in one video and he did his chin thing, despite the fact that he's rapidly losing that chin in an ever-expanding neck. He's a very fat little child. And AJ resents that Rizzler's in the main chair. Because even the staff at Jimmy Fallon was like, put the Rizzler in the main chair. Even though the Rizzler is the youngest and the least capable of conversation, he goes in the main guest chair and AJ resents that. And it's especially funny because you find out once you do more research into the Costco family, the Rizzler, he's not related to them at all. He's someone else's kid. He's not a cousin. He's not a nephew. He's not even like an in-law. He's just like someone else's kid that they keep feeding Costco food until he gets fat, like one of those horrific pugs that can't breathe that you see on TikTok. And the best thing is that even though Jimmy, it gets even better. Like I could talk about this 3 minutes of fucking Jimmy Fallon for a whole episode. And I know I keep saying the best thing about it is, but I just keep remembering the best thing about like everything I remember, it gets better than the last thing. The most recent best thing about this interview is when Jimmy Fallon very reluctantly goes, all right, let's do a live food review then. And the audience goes, woo! Like they're going to see anything other than boom, boom. Right? He pulls out food and he gives a Twizzler to the Rizzler. And the Rizzler's like, oh, what's this? A Twizzler. And then he takes a bite of it. And then he tries to give the plate back to Jimmy like he's a fucking waiter. And Jimmy's like, I'm not going to take the plate. But the Rizzler just holds it out, like waiting for Jimmy to take it. Jimmy then gives plates out to AJ and everyone else. And everyone just takes a bite and then gives it back to Jimmy like he's a fucking waiter. Like he's not the star of the show. Like he's not interviewing them. They're ignoring him because they know that they're the star and the food is the main guest. And they're doing TikToks to the big cameras instead of to mobile phones. And they're trying to give Jimmy back the fucking plate when really what they need to do is just put it down next to them. But they keep trying to give it back to Jimmy and Jimmy keeps ignoring the fact that they're offering the plate back to him. And it makes Jimmy hate them even more because he knows that they don't respect him. They think he's just the waiter. actually, scratch that. The best thing about the interview is when they start doing their booms and yelling over the top of Jimmy, is he tries to stop them, and then the audience starts to go nuts because the Costco family is doing their thing. And you can just see this disgust and hatred flash over Jimmy's face at the audience of like, people disgust me. This is what you want? I worked so hard to get in this position, and you just want to watch fucking fat TikTok kids go boom. Yes, they do. That's what the people want. That's what I want. It's so good.
Have you seen the videos of, what's his name, Big Justice, the dad?
Yeah.
Like, they're filming a video and AJ keeps fucking it up, and Big Justice is getting so mad at him.
Yeah. It's so good. And just how insane Big Justice's eyebrows are.
Yeah.
It's so good. Where are the Rizzler's parents? Like, isn't that crazy that, like, does the Rizzler go to school?
No, I actually heard on a podcast that AJ had to leave school because he couldn't go to class without getting swarmed.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
So I imagine the Rizzler is similar.
Yeah, but he's even younger. So, like, this kid probably only just figured out kind of how to read, and now he's too famous to go to school, and all he eats is Costco slop and hangs out with someone else's dad and this kid that deep down really fucking resents him because AJ wants to be the star, and he was the star. And really, if we're honest about it, AJ works so much harder and tries so much more than the Rizzler, who is just there because he's like really fat and he does the face, and that's endearing.
We're Costco guys.
We're Costco guys. Like, the Rizzler's like, it sounds like he's been yelling his whole life and he's lost his voice. Like, why does the Rizzler? I don't know. He just gives off like Tony Soprano vibes. It's like a mob boss. You know, I can just picture like AJ complaining about not being the star and Rizzler kicking the door down and being like, "You got no fucking idea what it's like to be number one." Sopranos quote, you wouldn't get it. Anyway, this episode's sponsored by manscaped.com. Use code 20spears for 20% off and free shipping. On all the great products over at manscaped.com. Dude, how good's my fucking beard? I've been using the new beard trimmer they sent me. Buy it. It's so good. I actually used the wrong setting. I think it's too close here. But I did the right length for the mustache. So next time I shave, I'm going to use the other attachment. But the point is, if you had darker, more thick facial hair, this setting would look really good. If I had, it would look really good on me. But because it's a little bit more fair, I can go to the second length. The point is, I'm learning how to use this thing. It's the best thing that they've made so far. One of the only like businesses that like actually gets better. I feel like Manscaped are in their and I know they sponsor me, but look, it's just true. I can't lie. I feel like they're on their like 2010 Apple shit of like every time they release a new bit of hardware, it's people are like, what the fuck? This is so much better than the last one. And the last one was good. That's where they're at. Manscaped.com. Use code 20spears for 20% off and free shipping. Really, really, really recommend the beard trimmer and also the lawnmower. I think they're up to the 5.0 or whatever. The latest lawnmower is for your balls. Or your pussy.
I texted you about this.
Oh, that's right. I've been meaning to say this on the show. Do not read. Host to talk about a nightmare personal grooming story.
So I went away recently to Europe, and I packed my Manscaped Ultra 5.0, whatever it's called, with me, fully charged. But it accidentally got set off in my bag while I was traveling. So by the time I got to it, it was flat. Yeah. Since I got pubic hair, I have not gone longer than maybe 3 weeks without shaving.
And why is that? Who's that thanks to?
Manscaped.
Manscaped, that's right.
I shave my back, my pubes, and my arms.
Yeah. Yeah, listen to me talking. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good as a beard trimmer. Keelan uses that thing.
And my ass.
Keelan uses that thing like a guy who's like just scored a movie role to play someone with leukemia. He's like, I gotta be bald everywhere.
So I don't think
I'm surprised that you haven't used it on your eyebrows yet.
since I got my Manscaped 1.0 back in the original years ago, I haven't gone more than 2 weeks without shaving
Your back.
anything. I've been traveling for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
My pubes are so fucking long. It's disgusting, man. It's revolting.
Don't show me. Yuck.
It's actually fucking foul how long it is.
Yeah.
So tonight I'm going to use my 5.0 Ultra and shave my pubes, my gooch, my back, and my arms.
And he's going to be live streaming it on Patreon.
I don't know about that, but everything else is very true.
Use code 20 Spears for 20% off and free shipping on your back, arm, chest, balls, gooch, feet, eyebrow shavers.
Oh, that's the other thing. My chest is so hairy again.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. I
Really?
just haven't been able to shave.
Yeah. That's awesome. Have I got a code for you? 20 Spears. 20 Spears. Okay, I don't know if you're up to date with I've been reluctant to talk about this because the guy's clearly like in the middle of a manic episode. But Fousey Tube is in Australia right now, losing his fucking mind, right? He got a Kick deal, right, to become a Kick streamer. And we know, when's the last breakdown? This guy's been having breakdowns since 2010 on YouTube. He was one of the OG YouTubers. He was like one of the first big vloggers. The guy's like an actual pioneer of YouTube. And I have been watching him for the last week try to run a 24/7 stream on Kick in Australia. Keelan's just showing me a photo of Daniel Tocknell with Fousey Tube, the celeb spot king. Oh my God, that's so funny. I didn't know they made hoodies that big. I've been watching this man try to run a 24/7 stream in Australia on Kick and just having a fucking manic breakdown and screaming at staff, getting into fights. You know, he punched his editor in the face.
What?
Yeah. I don't know why. I think they had technical difficulties or something. I can guarantee you it's probably because a lot of the people working for him are Australian and have no idea how to do anything in social media, because that's been our experience.
Yeah.
But also some of the Americans who do, they're probably trying to stream off like
4G.
Yeah, like I didn't even know how you would do a 24/7 stream in Australia outdoors. You can only just barely do that via Ethernet from homes like recently in some locations, depending on whether or not you have NBN or not. And even if you do have NBN, it's like whether you have fiber to the node or fiber to the premises. Our internet, you can't. Are there any like 24/7 live streamers outdoors in Australia? There's hardly any.
Oh yeah. Spidey.
Yeah, but he does like on TikTok vertically, like just trying to stream to Kick from a camera.
Yeah, you're right.
Like properly how you're supposed to do it. I don't think you can even do that with our internet. You could maybe do that with Starlink, but you'd have to carry. Starlink's not mobile yet, is it?
I don't know. I don't think so. No.
I think you have to set up the dish and connect it and then put it on, and then it remains stationary and then it works. I don't think you can walk around with Starlink. Also, it's probably got to be connected to power. I don't know how it works. But anyway, the point is he's been having a fucking breakdown trying to stream, and I'm just watching this man like blow it. He got a deal from Kick, and how the Kick deals work is because Kick is basically just a funnel as an advertisement for gambling, the Stake website. Stake owns Kick. So it's like a funnel that pushes people to Kick and then to Stake and then steals their money and gets people addicted to gambling. These people are getting like $3,000 an hour to stream, regardless of viewership, because Stake knows it drives people to the gambling site. So Fousey got one of those deals, like $3,000-$4,000 an hour. And he said it was like I got $100 million deal. And by that he means I think it was something like $8,000 an hour he was promised by Kick if he could stream a certain number of hours on Kick, which worked out to $100 million a year. And anyway, he just had a manic breakdown after manic breakdown, technical difficulties. I think he streamed for like 30 minutes with the microphone off, which I know that was some Australian kid that did that. I know for sure. Like you and me have done that when we were fucking 20. You know, like I know undoubtedly that there was some like incompetent kid who was like, yeah, I've got social media, I can do it. And then just fucked it up, streamed with the audio off, and also didn't notice for like 30 minutes. So Fousey's like screaming at the camera, but it's all silent. Then they finally turn the microphone on and he streams himself like berating this kid, like going, do you understand that if this was anyone else, I would punch you in the face right now? Like all this shit. And then I don't even know why the fight started, but it was in a house. Fousey like punches his editor in the face. That becomes a whole thing. He flew like 10 people from America to Australia, probably because he thought he was making $8,000 an hour. I mean, he was, or whatever he agreed to. Who knows if it's true. But the point is he could afford it. His entire team leaves because he's going insane. He starts threatening suicide on Kick, saying, I'm going to shoot myself in the head. All this crazy stuff. This is why I'm not making a YouTube video about it, because I don't want to exacerbate this problem. I feel like I can get more nuance here on the podcast because it's longer and not, edited than that. Starts talking about, I'm going to shoot myself in the head live on Kick. He literally goes, I'm going to shoot myself live on Kick. Brother, you're in Australia. You can't, all right? You're going to have to catch a flight if you want to do that. Anyway, Kick bans him. He loses his deal and his money, which makes him flip out even more. He gets locked up in a fucking psych ward here in Australia. Oh, wow. He gets locked up in hospital. They sedate him.
What?
He gets arrested. He's tweeting live from the fucking hospital or the institution, wherever he is. He gets out. He links up with all of these women, these Australian women that are just around him. Starts talking about how he's having sex parties with them and all this kind of stuff. Then, of course, he gets an accusation that he denies. Then he goes to the beach. He's ranting on the beach. The cops come to the beach and start trying to arrest him again. Then he's looking at an assault charge for punching the editor. So he's tweeting live about him trying to escape Australia before he gets arrested. And he streams himself abusing like TSA staff and customs and this and that. All the while on Twitter talking about how he's the greatest guy in the world and how he invented YouTube. He's like exposing how much money other people are getting paid for Kick. He's talking about how Sneeko is a fake Muslim. He pretends to be Muslim on camera, and then off camera, him and Fousey fuck girls together. All this stuff. Full-on, complete manic episode breakdown. And now I think he's in an Asian country somewhere, or at least he said he was going to go there. I don't know. I've just been watching, being like, oh, yeah.
What is it? Yeah.
Oh, also, he disowned his parents. He said he's disowning his parents and that his parents don't support him anymore, and basically because they would text him going, hey, man, I saw footage of you saying you're going to shoot yourself in the head. Oh, and he's a rapper. This all started because he flew to Australia to become the best rapper alive, and he wants to be like Kanye and meet Drake. He's back on the meeting Drake thing, which was where the first manic episode started. He remember that where he organized a concert and said Drake was going to be there, and then Drake just didn't and was never organized to be there. Well, now he's talking about meeting Drake again. He was like, I'm going to become the best rapper in the world and I'm going to get Drake on my album. I promise it. I guarantee. And he released one song called I Got Dick about wanting to have sex with someone else's girlfriend. She's like 20 or 19 or something. He's almost 40.
This will make a good documentary one day.
Oh, yeah. with a very sad ending. So I hope that he gets the help that he needs because the man is in the middle of a manic episode right now. I wonder what will happen. But yeah, fucking crazy, dude. Let me check. What is? I guarantee you, I haven't looked at him for since yesterday, actually. I guarantee you there's a tweet within the last hour of him saying some crazy stuff. Because that's another thing. He doesn't sleep when he's in this. So this has been 24 hours. He's just doing it on Twitter now because he got banned from Kick. All right, so the last tweet, 15 minutes ago. Next post, exposing the Illuminati. It's a slow burn, 7 hours in 7 parts. It's all caps, by the way. It's not for the people used to brain rot. It's probably too high IQ for peasants to understand. The tea starts being poured in part 2 of 3. 1,000 retweets on each part to unlock the next episode. Any second now, 60 retweets. Oh my God.
What does any of that mean?
I don't know. He's making a fucking documentary or something about the Illuminati. I don't know. What does that mean? It's crazy. Let's have a look at what's the most recent video he's put out. Oh, he's posting video of him freaking out from the last Manic episode. Oh, okay. This is him fighting with police officers.
Oh, so I don't record while you harass me? You are harassing me. Shut the fuck up. You guys just harassed me over there and you came here to harass me.
Listen to his voice.
These two guys harassed me.
Like you can tell he's been screaming for 10 days. Poor guy. I feel sorry for him. I hope that it ends well and that he finds peace. The poor guy. It's very very sad when you see people unravel like this so publicly, especially the Manic episodes, because social media fuels it so much. All these delusions of grandeur, they become really difficult to step down from when you have a million people watching. Like, it's hard for the manic brain to not think you're fucking God when hundreds of thousands of people are watching you give your sermons and shit like that. I feel sorry for him. I hope he'll be all right. And I'm not going to make a video on it. It would make a great, hilarious video, but I just don't think it's right to do, because you know, the guy's like talking about ending his life and going through such a psychotic episode right now. It's not right, which is why I'm only just talking about it here, because I feel like I can add this nuance and compassion where, you know, the YouTube channel is supposed to be more like funny. So yeah, anyway, what we'll do is before we get out of here, we've got the miscellaneous bit at the end. I need some emails, by the way, podcast@luzspears.com. If you want any life advice or if you have a funny story to tell me, send it through to podcast@luzspears.com. Even I would love to know what you think will happen in the next 4 years in America. You know what I think? You know what the funniest outcome would be? This would be so funny. All right? Now, very unlikely, obviously. But could you imagine what would happen if he just does a really good job and nothing happens? Wouldn't that be hilarious if he just 4 years, he just like nothing amazing happens, nothing terrible happens. He just does like a solid job and then the next presidency starts. What that would do to the American political system for the rest of our lives would be so funny, because we would watch the panic that happened yesterday and today, and then we would just see that none of that was true, and then Americans will be like, "Fuck, maybe we should keep voting for the crazy guy. This really works." That's what. Can he run again? Because you get 8 years total. Yeah. So he can't do like a two terms for this presidency. No. It counts towards the total of 8.
Total 2, yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. Damn, I wonder who the fuck are they going to put up next?
Only the guy during World War II, was it Truman, got the exception.
Because it was World War II.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hopefully there'll be World War III.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'll be the God Emperor Trump. Anyway, all right. What are we doing here? Okay, podcast at loosebeers.com.
I met
All
a
right.
podcast fan at a hostel the other night.
Oh, yeah?
In Edinburgh.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
How'd that go? What was he doing?
We were doing a big thing of trivia, like
Nice.
a hostel trivia,
Yeah.
and he was in the table next to us.
Uh-huh.
He kept looking at me,
Yeah.
and I just thought that he was just trying to get our answers because I'm quite good at trivia. And I was like,
That's so... Stop! Don't look!
that's just kind of
Don't! Turn your back to him. Stop looking. Get your own answers, sir.
And then the table next to us had like 8 people. We had 4 on our table.
Yeah.
So I was like, you've got 8 brains between you. Work it out. And then anyway, comes up. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, big fan of the podcast. He's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool, man. Get over you on your own fucking table.
Nah, he was lovely. I liked him. He was telling me that the guy that I was doing trivia with, this is funny, that night he was so drunk
Yeah.
that he, in the middle of the night, pulled his dick out on the hostel bed and just pissed on the floor.
Nice. That's hostel living.
Yes.
I'm so embarrassed and I don't know what to do. Hey, Lewis, hope you're well. I'm a huge fan of yours and have been for the longest time. The big swing at YouTube has been amazing. Please keep it coming. I will. Keelan's back now. The swing's going to be even bigger. I have an online persona that I'm passionate about trying to make content for, but I keep it a secret in my real life. I only tell people that I'm close to about it. I'm not embarrassed by the quality of the content I make. I just find it embarrassing when someone I know sees it and it's nowhere near off the ground yet. One day at work, I showed a friend my Twitch channel because I figured we have become close enough mates over the several months of working together, and I really wanted to show him a nasty clip that I hit in a game that we both play. But the clip was from my live stream. Before showing him, I made him promise on absolutely everything that he would not tell a soul and he said that he would not. Flash forward to a few weeks later, a coworker that I absolutely despise because he's a massive naughty word that I can't say on YouTube anymore, is leaving the job and having his last day celebrated at the pub after work. I didn't go to the pub to celebrate after work for 2 reasons. A, I don't drink and smoke, legend, and B, I hate that fuckwit. My friend coworker decided to show this guy my Twitch channel for some reason, and that led to the guy apparently going around to everyone at the pub, showing them, telling them about it, and now everyone from work is messaging me, taking the piss out of me. Honestly, I don't know what the point of me telling you this is. I just have no idea what to do or how to respond to this. And from the time of me writing this, I'm dreading going into work tomorrow. I wish I did not have to go and face those people. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do you have a hitman and how much would it cost? Yeah, that's tough. I remember, I'm thinking back to when I had a job and when I was doing this, I also didn't tell anyone. And I also really did not want anyone to know because I think for me, when I was at work at the call center, I was not me. I felt like I was in prison and I felt like I was doing, I was doing it for money to make being me possible. That's kind of how I viewed it. I was like, I step into this call center and I become a fucking corporate little robot bug and I do the thing and then I leave and I didn't make friends with anyone. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't go to any after work events or anything like that. I remember there was one guy, I was a lot smaller, there was one guy that definitely recognized me and kept trying to connect to me, but didn't talk about what I was doing. But I just knew that he knew because he kept inviting me out to things and I kept saying no. They're like, we're going after work, Friday night, drinks, this, that. And I kept going no. And I never did it. Because I was like, I don't want to have, basically I was like the ultimate masking of like every time I went into work, I was like, I'm going to play this character and that will help me not feel as trapped as I did because I felt very trapped. And I feel like, yeah, if everybody knew the videos and shit that I was making, it'd be very difficult. Yeah, you just gotta own it though. That said, you just gotta own it. Be like, yeah, man, I make videos, and they'll get over it. It's such a very it's such awful tall poppy lame Australian culture shit as well. This guy's Australian. Of like people finding out that you have a hobby or an interest outside of work. What are you, fucking gay, bro? You should just go to the pub after work and don't have a hobby. What are you drawing? Oh yeah, shit drawing, bro. Are you trying to do something? It is very lame, but you just have to own it. And I have worked in places where I have been found out and have been like scrutinized for it. And the answer is to just, yep, I do that. And yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, man. It's like weird Australian culture of people making fun of anyone who is seen caught trying anywhere. And you just got to unapologetically try and be like, yeah, I do that. And they'll get over it. It's a novelty thing, but they'll get over it. You know what this story reminds me of is when I was in high school. I was 18 and I had just started posting, but I was anonymous, so no one knew it was me. They found out it was me maybe in the last 6 months of the year, so it wasn't a big deal. But I remember there was this other kid who had a YouTube channel, this Asian kid, really, really, really quiet kid that I quite liked. But he made YouTube videos with his little brother of them like playing Mario Kart. And it was beautiful, gorgeous, them like having fun, just playing. There was literally like 1,000 videos of me and my little brother having fun. It was beautiful. It was really sweet. And my mate sent it to me and I saw it and he was like, oh, this guy has a YouTube channel. I was like, oh, wow, that kid's like really quiet. I never would have expected that. And I just didn't talk to him about it. But I watched him every now and then, and I loved them, and they were fun and sweet, him having fun with his little brother. And me and my friends just agreed to not share it around because we knew what would happen. And this is back 2012. So this is when like YouTube was an Australian with a YouTube channel. Ugh, like it was like very cringe and bad and lame. Like even I knew this and I was creating stuff, right? But then eventually, of course, it got around and the whole school knew about it at like months after we found out. And as soon as the whole school found out about it, the next day, whole channel deleted. Because kids made fun of him for it, bullied him for it. And he was like this quiet, like sensitive Asian kid. And he got bullied out of doing it. And that was 2012. Imagine. He could have been PewDiePie. So you just got to not let that happen to you and know that it will, especially in Australia. I saw a guy from New Zealand. I talked about tall poppy syndrome, say that it exists over there. I think it exists in England as well to a lesser extent, but it's real bad here. And you just got to accept that that's the reality of our prison culture. That anyone who tries or sticks out is seen as suspect or must be cut down lest the attention of the guards fall across the group. Is kind of the attitude and the culture, but you just got to own it, man. You just got to be, yep, I do that, and you don't have to talk about it very much with them. Who gives a fuck? They're coworkers. They're not your friends. Go home, make your videos, and one day they might even work. But if they don't work, at least it's fun. And at least you're doing something more than fucking going to the pub and having a drink and making fun of other people for trying anything, which is very lame. Anyway, I was going to end the episode, but so much more importantly, it's time to talk about my experience at Coldplay. All right. I know that everyone has clicked on this episode and they want to hear about my experience with Coldplay. Let me tell you something. Okay. I know a lot of people have been making fun of me because I say this unapologetically. All right. You think it's bad being a YouTuber at work? How about this? I'm a Coldplay fan. Not only am I a Coldplay fan, do you know what I on my Spotify Wrapped last year? I was in the top 1% of Coldplay listeners. Do you know how big that band is and how much Coldplay you have to listen to be in the 1%? I'm a Coldplay head, all right? That's my favorite band. And not only is it my favorite band, objectively, best band in the world. What about Lime Cordial? Shut up, Keelan. No one cares. All right?
Oh, actually, so we'll get back to Coldplay. I've made such a big impact
We better because it's the best band in the world.
on this audience. Every time they do a show, I'm not kidding, the last arena tour they did, every single show they did in Australia, I got at least 2 messages from people, which is not very much, but it's a lot, saying, I only came here because of your recommendation.
Well, okay.
I should start getting a cut.
Okay, cool. Well, who cares about that? You know what?
Over when they did the US tour and the European tour, same thing. I was just getting messages from people going, I only came and saw them because you talked about them so much.
Right. Okay. Well, cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
That's cool. You know what, though? I bet you never seen this. You know what I saw when Coldplay at their arena was setting up? Sound tech wearing my merch.
No, that's cool.
That's so much cooler. Wearing my hoodie.
That is cool.
That's sick. Also, the security guard was a fan. That's cool.
That is.
Did not appreciate him telling everyone that I was famous fucking 2 hours before the show started, outing me for a bunch of strangers who have no fucking clue who I am. The security guard goes, did you guys know that he's a famous comedian? Don't do that to me. I don't want to talk to them. I'm surrounded by 50 people. The security guy goes, hey, this guy's famous. No, I'm not. If I was, I wouldn't be in the fucking arena surrounded by people who have no idea who I am. I'd be on stage. Don't do that to me, please. I don't want to talk to them. I'll talk to you. We can have a conversation, Mr. Security Guard, but please don't point me out in a group of fucking strangers where we're going to be standing there for 2 hours in silence and go, hey, this guy's famous, because now I got to talk to them. I don't want to do that.
That's a good bit.
That sucks.
It's so funny.
That's not funny. I hate that so much. If you're a fan, I appreciate you so much. And sometimes it is, I imagine it would be quite awkward for you to be like, oh my God, Louis Spears, and then for no one in the room to know who I am. But I promise you, as much as I appreciate it, you don't have to sell them. You don't have to, you and me can have a conversation one-on-one. You don't have to bring in a bunch of strangers to be like, this guy's famous. And because you know what happens? Everyone looks at you and me and goes, no, he's not. I've never seen this guy in my fucking life. And then I look like an arrogant asshole because you've just told everyone that I'm famous, and then I have to kind of be like, oh, nah, no, I'm not. But anyway, I was at Coldplay, dude. I tried to buy tickets to their Perth show last year because they did Perth only. I couldn't get them. And then I was like, I'm getting tickets to the Melbourne show. I get in queue. The only tickets available were the fucking super expensive VIP early entry tickets, $450. At the time, I was like, this is bullshit. I can't even afford this. And then I was like, no, it's my favorite band. They're not going to come back to Australia for probably 5 years. I have to. I bought it, brother, worth every fucking cent. The best band in the world. Imagine this, all right? This is what I think. If you don't like Coldplay, you're jealous. You're just mad because your favorite band isn't the biggest in the world like my favorite band is. Do you understand how blessed I am to know that my favorite band is the biggest band in the world? Because you know what that means? My favorite band has an unlimited budget for their live shows, and you're just jealous that you have to watch your band play in a pub. It's jealousy. They had fireworks, pyrotechnics. They had so much money that they had fucking inflatable kites walked around their arena like it was a parade. And you're just jealous that you have to watch your band perform in a pub that has a bad sound system. But don't get mad at me because your band can only sell 70 tickets. All right? You're just upset. You know what's funny is for a lot of people, I am that band of like, oh, Lewis is my favorite comedian. It really sucks that I have to watch him perform in front of 15 people in Launceston.
That's so much cooler.
No, it's not.
Wow.
It would be so much cooler to see me in an arena
Yeah, maybe.
once. It would be cool once. But it is the sweet spot for comedy, I think, is 200 people. 2 to 400 people to spend, depending on the shape of the room. And then an arena once, but because you get to see your favorite be like, fuck, he did an arena, I'm proud of him. But then you'd be like, yeah, but the 500 seater was better.
Who were the openers?
They had this woman called Ira Star, who was like a Nigerian pop star who I just thought was from Australia. I'd never heard of her, but then I just looked her up on Instagram because she was really good. She's like a really good dancer and singer. And I was like, oh, this girl does not seem like new. She has like 5.5 million followers. She's super famous. And I was like, oh, fuck. No one knew who she was in Australia. It seemed, at least. But she was good. She's really good. And then they had a guy, I can't remember his name, but he was very severely disabled. What's funny about that?
Nothing.
Very severely disabled guy who could really sing. He's like, he was an orphan from... Come on, bro.
God, sorry.
He told his whole backstory. He was an orphan
not
from
funny.
Iraq. They found him in a bin or something. Literally.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. He was found in a
bin.
box or a bin or something. And then he got shipped off to an orphanage, and then an Australian lady adopted him. I'm not kidding. This is very inspirational.
I don't believe.
He was found in a bin, and now he's playing on Coldplay. You don't believe me?
No.
Why? Because you don't think the disabled orphans from Iraq that were found in bins can live a good life?
It sounds just like something you've made up.
It's true. You just don't think that it would be possible for a disabled boy born in a bin from Iraq.
Born in a bin.
Well, I don't think he was born in a bin. I think that he was probably born and he came out like that, and they were like, oh, and they put him in a bin. But then he was saved by a woman from Australia and adopted, and you're laughing.
Well, if that's true, good on her.
Yeah, she was in the crowd. It was beautiful.
Good on him.
Now there was a moment that I was very glad that you were not there, because there was a part of the show where he was performing and he was waddling around the stage and the music hit a crescendo and he did a little dance. And I'm just saying that I'm glad that you weren't there to make eye contact with me, because we probably would have had to leave. But I did, however, see it was a group of 5 boys. He did his little dance move and they all made eye contact with each other and then looked at the floor. And that's wrong, because he was actually an amazing singer, very talented.
I don't doubt that.
But anyway, Coldplay, bro, the best. It was like, you could just tell that it was they've made like almost $2 billion on this tour, and you can fucking tell. You can tell that they're putting a shitload of money into the production. And you can tell that not just the band and Chris Martin, the singer, but the production team themselves behind the scenes have just been doing it for so long and are just the best in the world at it. Every cue hit on time, not a single production live quality issue at all. The stuff they were playing on the screens was amazing. The sound was incredible. The light show that they'd done was amazing. The pyrotechnics, they had confetti cannons and just, I don't know. It was just like, yeah, it was like, imagine if your favorite band had an unlimited budget to put on an amazing show and they actually put the money back into the production. It was fucking unbelievable. I cried like several times. It was so good. But because I got early entry, right, this is hilarious. Obviously, I'm massive. I'm 6'8", right? 2 meters tall. So I'm bigger than everyone. But I got early entry. So you know where I was? Right at the front. Right at the front, baby. Right up there. No mercy. I thought about it. I thought I could stand back a little bit, but I thought, no, this is my band, bro. I'm here. You're just a casual. You just know the lyrics to Yellow, all right? I I know the words to Sparks, all right? You're a fucking casual fan. So I'm right at the front. And the way the stage was set up was, so I get in there first, right? Me and like 1,000 other people, we get in there first. So it's super spread out. I get there at 4 p.m. Coldplay doesn't get on until 8:45. So from 4 until 8, yeah, that was actually horrible. 4 until 8, people would come in, they would stand behind me, and I would hear them go, let's move. I heard audible complaints from every single person who funneled their way into the arena. And what's funny is because every person that stood behind me moved, there was like every new person that came into the arena was like, oh, there's a spot over there, let's stand there. And then they found out why no one was standing there. It's because of my back, because that's all you could see. So there was this giant pocket behind me of available space that kept getting filled and then vacated because people realized it would be a horrible viewing experience. They realized that, oh, we're not going to see Coldplay, we're just going to see Lewis Spears' back, right? But eventually, that was the only spot available. So it just ended up getting filled. And, brother, I pretended like I couldn't hear the complaining, but I heard it all. And it felt good. And if I was showing no mercy, I was in my dark MAGA evil energy. I didn't give a fuck, bro. But here's the thing. You know what's really funny about this? The people that were next to me and kind of a little bit in front of me, they were stoked because there was just, in general, less people around me because no one wanted to stand behind me or diagonally behind me. So we were all quite comfortable. So the people that were next to and in front of me were very happy, and they actually kind of congregated around me because they knew that there would be less people in my orbit. But how's this? The stage was set up like there was the main stage to the left of me, and then there was like the walkway right in front of me, and there was like another stage to the right. So every song, the band moved from one stage to another and on the walkway. So people, they thought before the show started that there was only one behind me, but actually every single person standing in a 360-degree radius of me for a good part of the show was behind me. And they hated it. Dude, can you imagine how many iPhone videos I'm in of people trying to record Chris Martin? Nah, me. I'm in them. So you know what? That security guard that pointed me out and said I was famous, by the end of the concert, I was quite famous because everyone ended up filming me much more than Chris Martin. Sucked in, no mercy. And I was bobbing. Fuck yeah, brother. You know what? I've never in my life have I ever done this at a concert because I know how horribly rude it is. I've never done this, but Coldplay, I did it every time I was asked. Hands in the air. That's right. I put my fucking hands in the air, dude. Go and look at the footage that I posted. That was my POV. Best seats in the house, brother. And you know who had the worst seats? About 100 people around me. God, it was good. You know, I kept making eye contact with Chris Martin because every time he walked past, he would just see this fucking massive head. Because a lot of the Coldplay fans, they're like younger girls, right? So everyone around me is quite short anyway. So I'm like literally, everyone's head is at my chest, and I must from the band's point of view, I must look like I'm on someone's shoulders, which is so funny. One thing that I did notice about Coldplay, right? I only have good things to say about Chris Martin. One of the best live singers I've ever heard. He hit every note. He was having fun. He was dancing. He was improvising. Because he's 47. They're all like they're approaching 50. They've been the biggest band in the world for like 20 years, right? So a lot of bands they get very bored of playing the same songs again. They played Yellow. They've been playing that since the fucking album came out, their first album, right? They're still playing it. So Chris Martin, so good, so obviously genuinely excited to be there and amazed at the opportunity to do this in Australia in an arena, even though it's one of hundreds that he's been doing, one of thousands he's been doing over his whole career, right? So he looked like he loved it and that he was happy to be there. The band, bro, they looked like me doing math. They looked so fucking bored. And especially because I was much closer than everybody else. I'm right at the front and I'm a lot higher. Dude, every time they walked from the stage at the left to the stage at the right, they passed me. They looked like they were walking down a fucking death row. They were so bored out of their fucking mind. Chris Martin's running up and down, jumping, waving, saying hello, interacting with people. The band going for a stroll, talking to each other. Like not looking at the crowd at all. The first few times they walked up and down, people were like, woo! And then eventually we learned to just ignore them like they were ignoring us. And look, to be fair, it would be very boring to be the drummer of Coldplay. That wouldn't be fun. Chris Martin, fun job. Being the drummer, boring. They didn't even try to look excited, and they were not. But anyway, best fucking live experience I've ever seen. You got to go see him. Even if you're not a big Coldplay head, it's just amazing. Just to see what a band can do with unlimited money is really cool. But I walked out of that arena like the fucking Tin Man. I got there at 4. I left at like 11.
Did you get the hotel in town?
Yeah. Thank God. That was such a good move. I almost didn't do that. If I had to go all the way home to Frankston on the train from the city, I don't think I would have made it. I think I would have made the decision to get a last minute hotel. Like I probably would have been staying at a fucking brothel or something. I don't know where I would have been staying, booking a hotel at midnight. But dude, standing, because also you're packed in and a few women left and came back, went to the toilet, got drinks or whatever. I knew that if I moved, I would not be let back in at all. Especially because I was by myself and people would look at me and be like, nah, fuck you, dude. So I stood, couldn't move for 6.5 hours. My hips hurt, my legs. It's like, it was kind of awful.
How long was their show?
They got on stage at 8:30. The show ended at like 10:30 or 11. So almost 3 hours. It was really, really fucking good.
I have to go.
Me too. That's the end. All right. Have a shit one. Bye.
Sorry.